I've got three really cool concepts I want to share with you when it comes to playing guitar solos. More importantly, creating your own guitar solos, and even more important than that, creating and developing your own signature style of soloing. So we're going to talk about that. Let's dig in real quick. Stay tuned till the end of the video. I've got a really awesome announcement. Something like just came out like today, the day of this video. If you're part of my Guitar Academy, the Jason Starworth Guitar Academy, you just got the notification, so I hope you're enjoying that. If you're not, stay tuned till the end. We'll talk more about that after these methods here. Method number one is that when you're learning licks or when you're learning another guitar solo, whatever that may be, I want you to learn it, but I want you to quickly move away from it. Oh, well, that sounds kind of weird. What do you mean? What I mean is I want you to start adding your own flavor to it. So let's just take a random lick, for example. I'm just going to come up with whatever, okay? Just whatever kind of like comes from above or wherever this stuff comes from. Okay, again, just a random lick. You heard that little melody line? Almost sounded like the Jurassic Park theme. That was kind of cool. I always love the soundtrack to that. But in any case, that little lick there, and you may say, okay, well, I got that down, this little part you did here. Okay, and then I did something, something like that. We're not getting like all technical and learning every note here, but let's say you learned that. What I would encourage you to do though is quickly branch off away from that. It's like, okay, I got it down, I got the technique, especially that first part, just a few notes. What if you though heard something else as you're listening to whatever rhythm that was? What if you heard something else? And this is where I want you to go with this. We got this. What if you heard something different though? What if in your mind, the melody you're hearing in your head as you play that, or where your fingers kind of naturally gravitate towards, was somewhere different? And I want you to do this, okay? So let's just think of something. What's going through my head right now? What's going through your head right now? Okay, kind of the same cadence there. We stuck with that, but what we just played just now, and again, we're just making stuff up. I want you to do this. I want you to just make stuff up. There are no right or wrong notes at this point. It doesn't matter if you play something that sounds bad, right? If you play a wrong note, oops. Okay, well, that didn't sound good. Or maybe it did sound cool. Maybe it was like one of those off notes. You're like, oh, okay. Well, that's kind of not what I meant to play, but it kind of fit in a wicked way, right? My point, though, is that you trust your ears. This is so important. You learn to trust your ears in regards to what sounds good to you and what doesn't sound good to you. And you go with that. And you continue to do that. You continue to make the little mistakes, if you will, right? And you continue to build that skill of just translating what you're hearing and what you're feeling to this fretboard here. And again, you go back to like if you're learning other licks and that sort of thing. And I share this because I give a lot of lessons on here. I have a lot of courses, and I always encourage you as you go through those, learn them, fine, get it down, right? But then quickly branch away from that and start adding your own flavor. That's when you truly start building that skill of not just being a guitar player that jams now and then, but now you're creating music. This is part of who you are. So that's why it's so important. So again, learn licks, learn solos, that's great, but quickly branch off and just allow yourself the freedom, give yourself that freedom to create something from that. Then it just becomes something completely different, and again, it's yours. Now, the second method I want to share with you, I know we spent a lot of time on that one, but the second method is how you approach your notes. In other words, if you're reading tabs, and then let's say the tab says, okay, on the D string, play frets, 7, 9, and then the G string, 7, 9 again. So you're not going to do this. Okay, that's just notes. And we played the tabs. Yay. All right. And there are no tabs for this. We just kind of made that up just now, right? But in any case, What I want you to think about is something like this instead. Hear how much different that sounded than just this. What we did is just added some, I don't know, flavors to the vanilla ice cream. We added a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of strawberry, maybe some pistachio, right? Whatever. Or we added some different hot sauce flavors to the chicken wings, right? It's just not so bland anymore. I want you to think about this, your approach to each note. Don't just play the notes. Playing the notes, that gets kind of boring and it's not very inspiring, right? And sometimes we'll do that to get it down. It's like, okay, well, I just need to know where to play. What I want to share with you real quick, though, to not just play the notes, is the techniques, the finesse that we put into this, the passion that we put into this, right? So one thing I did, a couple things I did here, I slid into that note. I didn't just do... I did a little thing like this here, like you can just rake across any string, a couple of strings here. I've got it muted with this hand here. I've got the strings muted here, right? I'm not pressing down on, it's not like, I'm not pressing down on any fret here, right? I'm just going, and you don't even have to do that. This is just like something that I do now and then, but then I slide into that note. So it's like, I will start with any note up here. It almost doesn't matter where. I mean, you can make the argument it needs to be in the same key or whatever. To me, who cares? It doesn't, because we're not staying there. Whether I start here on the 2nd fret and slide to 7, but I'm not staying there long enough to know whether it's 2nd or 3rd. I'm just doing... To make things easier, you could just start from, 2 frets above that, 5th fret, and just go, just a quick little slide in. It just gives it a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more spice, a little bit more finesse than just playing this note. Now, when I went from 7 to 9, I did something else. I do this often in my solos, by the way, and I think it's just a cool tactic. So, check this out. So, I went from 7 to 9, only to go back to 7 and slide back up to 9. It's like a little quick slide there. And it's just one of those little things that you'll capture in guitar solos, and again, especially in writing your own guitar solos, because that's really what this is all about. What if you learned a solo that was just the notes and that's just what they played? Okay, that's somebody else's solo. It sounds fine, but what if you add your flavor to it, right? By just utilizing some of these techniques in your own way. This is super important, right? If you don't get anything out of this lesson, please get this. You don't have to do everything exactly the way I just did it. Like, kind of just, take the concept, right? Throw my exactness out the window, take the concept, okay? And you apply that concept your own way. You might come up with something completely different than I just did. And I will say that's better because it's yours, okay? Now, if you want to take exactly what I'm doing, that's fine too. But I just want you to embrace the concept here. So, doing the slides, also adding what's called vibrato to this, right? Okay, just a little wiggle of the note there, right? And then I especially did that at the end here. The third thing in this little series of techniques that we're doing is a string bend, right? with a little vibrato at the end. But in this case, in this particular case, right, I go from here. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool sound. It's kind of like a little spacey, kind of like a little ambient type of thing there. But I just wanted to share these simple techniques that that you can think about. And again, apply these in your own way. Please do that, okay? Don't take this as like, well, I've got to do it exactly like Jason just did it, or that guitar player, that guitar player. No, you don't. I want you to apply this in your own way. And the more you do this, and I know if you're new at this, it might take some time just to grasp the notes with the techniques. You know, start with one, then go to the other. Don't overwhelm yourself, but just always be thinking that I'm developing my own style of playing as I go through this. That's what you're doing. And don't expect it to be like, okay, well, I did it, now this is my style. I say this a lot. Give yourself the freedom, okay? This is important. Give yourself the freedom to allow yourself to grow, okay? You're not going to be the guitar player tomorrow that you are today. And you're not the guitar player today that you were yesterday or a year ago or whenever you started playing, okay? You've grown. You will continue to grow. And these are the types of things that I want to share with you that are going to help that growth, that are going to inspire that growth. Concept number 3 here is to mix and match your rhythm and leads. And this is what I call effective noodling. I actually cover this in my latest course that just released. Hey, I'm not supposed to tell you about that yet. Hold on a second. Hold that thought. We'll get to that, okay? Effective noodling. This video is getting lengthy, so I'm going to go through this really quickly here. So a lot of times we just sit down to noodle, which I think is great. I used to not really be a fan of that. I'm like, well, you need to practice the techniques and practice these certain patterns or whatever and exercises. And I still think there's a place for that. That's good. Overall, I think the best way for you to practice and learn is the most inspiring method, right? And we're all a little different. However, effective noodling, well, so noodling in general, you're just kind of noodling, right? Okay, we're just making stuff up. It might be something simple. Okay, or the typical. As simple and as like southern rocky as that is, it still sounds kind of cool, right? My point though here is effective noodling, or what I call effective noodling, and this just kind of takes it to a different level here, is play a simple chord progression before you do that. So let's just do something simple. What did I just do? Well, I played just 2 chords. E power chord, we're in the key of E minor, I'm in standard tuning, E power chord, D power chord, and then I just followed up with just a little lick that I made up in sort of the same cadence and then keep it in the same key. You can do this and flop back and forth between the two, like you go to that rhythm again, after that, come up with another lick. The timing doesn't have to be exact because you're just jamming. This is a good tip if you're just jamming in the room by yourself. You've got an amplifier, over to the side of you, and you're just playing. You don't want to plug into the DAW. I mean, of course, I'm plugged into the DAW right now. But in any case, wherever you're at, if you just want to jam, you don't feel like recording anything or doing anything like super intense, you just want to jam. So play just any simple progression. Make it up. 2 chords, 3 chords. Hang on 1 chord if you want, right? And then follow that up with a lead. Then what I would want you to do is experiment in different keys. So like, let's say, okay, well, we're getting real familiar with E minor. We know where those notes are. Play something in C sharp minor. Okay, just experiment, allow yourself to kind of branch out away from the same key all the time. This will help you learn the fretboard, and this goes back to trusting your ears. If I play something in a certain key, then I follow up with notes that supposedly fit that key or that at least sound good to me. Well, I'm going to know if I play something that really doesn't. And that's why I keep these intervals kind of short. Chord progression, quick chord progression, a few licks. Chord progression, same progression, a few licks. And then you start to develop a sense of what notes really fit within that chord progression that you just wrote. And of course the licks you're writing too that are going with that. So this is just a great way to noodle, or again what I call effective noodling. So what just happened? Well, I just released a brand new course in my academy called Lead Guitar Apprentice. Guys, I'm so excited about this course. It's one of those things to where I believe it's truly going to take your playing to that next level. I know I say that a lot, but seriously, I mean, this is one of those things where if you've ever thought of yourself as just a rhythm guitar player, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Look, if you just want to play rhythms, that's fine. I mean, the rhythm is what holds down the fort. That's part of the foundation with the bass and drums. You don't have a song without it. I mean, I taught that in my course I created called Metal Guitar Apprentice. That helps you go from beginner to intermediate, like in one of the fastest ways. If you want to play lead guitar and you kind of struggled with it and you just kind of chalk it up, I'm just a rhythm player, you know, well, I'm going to give you the chance to prove yourself wrong in the new course called Lead Guitar Apprentice. This takes you through building a strong foundation. First of all, we do that first. I think a lot of times people will try to go from A to Z, and they get frustrated. But if we build a rock solid foundation, or I should say a metal solid foundation, I mean, it applies to both genres, right? But if we build that foundation strong, and then we start to build a beautiful structure on top of that, well, we do that in this course in Lead Guitar Apprentice. It's going to be just like I'm sitting in the room with you in your studio or your room, and we're just kind of going through stuff together. I design my courses as if they're like a book or a movie. When you go back to them, when you go back through them a second, third, fifth, 10th time, I've had some of you go through my courses multiple times. It's like a book. You get something different out of it each and every time because you continue to grow. Remember what I said earlier. The guitar player you are right now, and just go as far as to say is the person that you are right now. It's not the same person you were yesterday, a year ago, 10 years ago. And now you can kind of sit and reflect on that a little bit and understand that the person you're going to be tomorrow, the guitar player you're going to be tomorrow, is going to be an evolved version of what you are, who you are right now, as a person and guitarist. So you're going to pick up different things every time you go through them. But in any case, check out the Guitar Academy, JasonStallworthGuitarAcademy.com. Go to my website and check that out, and you can learn what all I offer in that academy for those who don't know about it, and see if it's for you. See if my style, if it's something that truly helps you, if my YouTube videos help you. Well, it's kind of a no-brainer if that's the case. If you like my videos, you're going to love the academy. It's going to be a big part of your progression as a musician, as a guitarist. So I know you'll love it. But check it out. There's a link in the description of this video. And more importantly, guys, I hope this video helped you. I hope these tips, I hope you take them to heart. I hope they do help you develop, again, your own style of playing. Your soloing is your voice. It's like when you talk to your friends. Even if they don't see you, these are people that you're around on a regular basis. If they don't see you, if they close their eyes, they still know it's you because you have your own voice. Well, guess what? The same applies to guitar, especially with lead, right? With soloing. That's where your style really starts to come out, right? Because the way you approach the notes, how you play. So I want to encourage you to continue to develop your own signature style. You have it within you. On that note, no pun intended, the pun's always intended. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave me any questions in the comments. Guys, keep it metal. As I'm wearing my old school Metallica shirt. Actually, I just got back from the gym. I need to go shower now. Anyway, keep it metal, guys, and keep playing music.